Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be continuing with my two-piece project that I'm creating here for the channel, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you guys how to crochet the detachable long sleeves that I've created for the strapless top, that I think it adds a little touch to this top as well, and I think it looks pretty cute. So I really hope you guys enjoy today's video. If you do, make sure you give this video a massive thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe so you can join here the Bruneticality family. So let's begin with the video. So for today's video I'm going to be using a tapestry needle, a small pair of scissors, a 4.5mm hook, thread and needle, a 5mm elastic, 4 buttons, and this one is a 1cm button. And I'm also going to be using this 100% cotton yarn. This one you guys have seen me using in this channel so many times, but I'm going to be linking that in the description below. And also I'm going to be using this one right here, which is also one of my favorite yarns, and it's kind of like a nude with a little bit of gold, as you can see, yarn. So these are the ones that I'm going to be using for today's project. First I'm just going to be measuring here the sleeves for you guys. So the measurements are circumference, so right at the top is 30 centimeters. The length of my sleeves is 42 centimeters, and here I'm just doing a few other measurements going down the sleeves, so you know the sizing that I'm going to be doing. And then also basically if it's not your sizing, then you can just do a little bit bigger or even a little bit smaller. First we are going to be starting with the slip knot, and I'm going to be chaining 45, in which is basically the 30 centimeters that I measured right at the top of my arms. The best thing to do is just create the chain and measure to see if you reach that centimeter, and also you can measure directly into your arms as well. So we are going to be connecting the two ends now of the chain, and what you want to make sure is that the chain is nicely and straight and is not twisted. Once you've done that, you want to face both ends just like this, as you can see. So now you can just go ahead and go through the very first chain on the other side, go through that stitch and create a slip stitch by connecting both ends together. So now we are going to be chaining 5. So 3 for the double crochet and 2 for the chain space. And then into the same stitch we are going to be creating a double crochet. We are going to be chaining 2, and then we are going to be skipping 4 stitches. Into the 5th stitch we are going to be creating a V, so 1 double crochet, a chain of 2 and another double crochet, all into the same stitch. Chain 2, and then we are going to be skipping 4 stitches. Into the 5th one we are going to be creating another V, so 1 double crochet, a chain of 2 and 1 double crochet into the same stitch. And then you're just going to be repeating the same all the way around, and then I'll meet you guys at the end. When you get at the end, you're going to be chaining 2, and then into the 3rd stitch, as you can see here from the other side, you are going to be creating a slip stitch connecting both sides together. So now you're going to be slip stitching into the next V right on top of the 2 chain space. Then you're going to be chaining 5 into the same stitch. In the chain 2 space you're going to be creating a double crochet. And then you're going to be chaining 2, you're going to be jumping into the next 2 chain space into the next V, and then you're going to be creating another V. 1 double crochet, a chain of 2 and 1 double crochet. Chain 2 for the chain space, and then V on top of V. And then you're going to be repeating this all the way around. At the end, you're going to be chaining 2, and then you're going to be connecting to the other side with a slip stitch, right on the 3rd stitch from the other side. So now we are going to be doing the same for a couple of rows, so I'll be giving you guys a little explanation for this part. The first thing you're going to be doing is measuring the desired length for the sleeves. For my one, I wanted 39 centimeters. Also remembering that we have one extra row at the end and right on top of the sleeves for the finishing. So you're going to be dividing the 39 centimeters, the length of your sleeves, by 3. So for me, that's 13 centimeters. And then basically with that number, you're going to be dividing the sleeves into 3 sections, just as you can see right here. And then what you're going to be doing is dividing one of the sections, so the middle one, by 2. So that's 6.5 centimeters for my section. And then for each of these sections, we are going to be having a number of rows depending on your yarn weight. You can see here my ones just as a reference if you want. And also for each of these sections, we are going to be having a different decrease, so that's why we have to kind of divide into different sections. So here we have the 8 rows completed, and now we are going to be starting with the next 4 rows here into the next section. So you're going to be slip stitching on top of the chain to space and then create the same V as the previous rows. For the decrease, we are going to be decreasing the numbers of chains in between the V's. So instead of 2, we are going to be doing only 1. And then V on top of V. And then you're going to be chaining 1 and not 2. V on top of V. And then you're going to be continuing all the way around. And then at the end, you're going to be chaining 1. And then you're going to be connecting with a slip stitch to the other side, and then repeat the same for 3 rows more, which is the 6.5 centimeters, or as many rows as you're going to be doing. Now for the next 4 rows, we are going to decrease the last chain available in between the V. So you are going to be creating V on top of V, just as before. You're not going to be chaining in between, and you're going to be going right into the next V available. And then you're going to be creating V on top of V. So just follow these steps and not chaining in between the V's. At the end, you're not going to be chaining, just as we are doing for this row. And then you're going to be slip stitching on the other side with a slip stitch to connect to both sides. So now you can just go ahead and create as many rows as you need. I'm going to be doing here 3 more rows. So now here we have the 16 rows completed, and now we are going to be doing the 9 rows here for the rest of the sleeves, so the other 13 and last centimeters. And here I'm going to be doing 9 rows and not 8, because we are following the measurements 13 centimeters, and because here we are decreasing even more, it made the stitches a little bit smaller and the rows also a little bit smaller. And this is something that you have to check while you're doing the rows and measuring and checking if you reached that centimeter that you basically want to achieve. So for this last decrease, we are going to go right on top of the next V on the chain to space. We are going to be chaining 4 and not 5 as before, because we are decreasing 1 more. And then we are going to be creating a double crochet into the same chain to space. We are not going to be chaining in between the V's, so right on top of the next V, you are going to be creating a double crochet, a chain of 1 plus a double crochet. And this is basically our decrease, same as the previous row, but with only 1 chain for the V. And then you're going to be repeating all the way around, and then at the end you're going to be connecting with a slip stitch to the other side. So now I'm going to be creating my 9 rows with the decrease that I have to do for this last part of the sleeves, so you can go ahead and create as many rows as you need as well. So this is how the last part looks like, and we are going to be creating now the hem here for the sleeves. I wanted to use the nude yarn, but I only have 1 yarn ball left, so what I'm going to be doing is showing you guys how to make the hem here, the little shells at the bottom of the sleeves with my cream yarn. And if I have some of the nude yarn left at the end, I will remake this part and basically change it to the nude yarn. So right on top of the first V available, we are going to be creating 4 double crochets. Now into the space in between the V's right here, we are going to be doing a single crochet. And then on top of the next V, we are going to be creating 4 double crochets. And then in between the V's, a single crochet. and then you're going to be repeating the same all the way around. When you get at the end, you're going to be doing your last single crochet, and you're going to be slip stitching into the next shell for a better finishing. So here now you can chain one, fasten off, and weave in the yarn. I'm not going to be doing that because I will wait until the end to see if I still have some of the new yarn left. So I will just leave it like this for the moment. So now we are going to be creating the ruffles here for the sleeves. I'm going to be creating my very first one right here into the very first V here in the very first row. With the next color, in my case here, I'm using the nude one, and I'm going to be creating a slip knot as we are going to be attaching into one of the V's here into this row. So I'm going to be attaching right here into the joining here, as you can see. So right into this V right here. So what you're going to be doing is folding the row where you want to attach your yarn and create the ruffles. Right here, as you can see, there is a space in between the double crochets here right on top of this V, and right here is where we are going to be attaching the yarn. So go ahead and choose your V that you want to attach your yarn. You're going to be folding that row into that V, and then you're basically going to be attaching yarn with the slip stitch. So you're going to be chaining 3, and then you're going to be creating 1 double crochet. You're going to be chaining 2, and then you're going to be creating 2 more double crochets into the same space. And then you're going to be chaining 2 for the space, and then go into the next V, and then you're going to be just opening the stitch a little bit up to reveal the chain 2 space, and then you're going to be creating another shell. So 2 double crochets, a chain of 2, and 2 double crochets. Chain 2, so you're gonna go into the next V, reveal the chain 2 space, and then you're going to be doing the next shell. 2 double crochets, a chain of 2, and 2 double crochets. And then you're basically going to be repeating the same steps all the way around. So to finish the row, you're going to be chaining 2 and then connecting to the other side with the slip stitch. So this is how it looks like, and you can see that it's right on top, so the ruffles will be going around here the sleeves. So now we are going to be continuing with the rows, and it's basically repeating the same as the previous row. So I'm going to be creating slip stitches until I reach the chain 2 space right in the middle of the shell. So now you're going to be doing exactly as the previous row, so you're going to be chaining 3, double crochet into the same stitch, chain 2, and then 2 double crochets into that same stitch. And then you're going to be chaining 2, and then into the next shell you're going to be creating another shell. So 2 double crochets, a chain of 2, and 2 double crochets. And then you can just repeat the same all the way around. So from here you're going to be doing as many rows as you want. I'm going to be doing 4 rows for my ruffles, for each of the ruffles that I'm going to be doing, but you can do as many as you want, and then I'll come back right at the end to show you guys the little finishing that I'm going to be doing around. So once you complete all of the rows that you want for the ruffles, we are going to be creating the finishing right here. So we are going to be doing very similar to the hem right at the end of the sleeves. So right in the middle on top of the next shell available, we are going to be creating 6 double crochets, and then in between here the shells in the 2 chain space we are going to be creating a single crochet, and then go right on top of the next shell and you're going to be creating the 6 double crochets, and then single crochet right in the middle in between the shells on the chain 2 space, and then you're going to be repeating the same steps all the way around. At the end you're going to be doing your single crochet, you're going to be connecting with the slip stitch here to the shell for a better finishing, just as we did at the end of the sleeves, and then you're going to be chaining 1, and then you can fasten off and weave in the yarn. So I have this one and also another one right here where we attached the yarn. So how I usually fasten off, I just go through a few stitches and then I choose one stitch, I go through that stitch twice, and then on the second time I fasten off, and then I cut my yarn. And that's how I usually fasten off, and I'm gonna do the same to all of the ones that I have to do. So you want to match the ruffles here with the bottom, with the rows. So you're going to be counting 5 rows, and then you're going to be placing it right on top, as we have 5 rows here for the ruffles. And then you're going to be counting after that 3 rows, and then on the 3rd row right into this one we are going to be doing another ruffle. So that's going to be covering 5 rows here into the sleeves. Once you have that done, you're going to be doing again the same. So you're going to be counting 1, 2 and 3. On the 3rd row right after that ruffle, we are going to be doing another ruffle. So that's what I'm going to be doing. You can do less or more ruffles or longer ruffles. It just depends really on how you want the sleeves to look like. I'm going to be showing you guys what I'm going to be doing right here on top of the sleeves, and it's going to be very simple. I'm just going to be running a single crochet row, just going around. You're going to be doing exactly as we did. So you're going to be creating a slip knot and then connecting into any of the stitches right here so we can create the single crochets. So I'm going to be attaching it right here into this chain space, because then I can weave in already this yarn right here. So we are going to be chaining 1, and then you're going to be creating 5 single crochets right here into the chain 5, as we have 5 chains into this space. And then right here on top of this V into that stitch, we are going to be creating a single crochet, and then 5 single crochets on top of the 5 chain space. And that's basically how I'm going to be doing the single crochets. You can just go ahead and create it all the way around the single crochets, and then I'll be back in a second. So I'm going to be doing my last one right here, as you can see, and then I'm just going to be finding a stitch on the other side and connect it with the slip stitch. You can chain 1, cut the yarn, fasten off and weave in the yarn. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and create the next 2 ruffles that I want to do for the sleeves, and if I have some more of the nude yarn left, I'm going to be redoing the bottom here, the hem of my sleeves. So we are going to be adding a little elastic right here at the top to be a little bit more secured when it's around your arms. And also I'm going to be sewing 2 buttons here right at the top so I can attach to my strapless top. And this is basically the most effective way that I found. You can do any other way that you think is going to work for you as well. So you wanted to cut an elastic that fits perfectly around your arms right at the top. My one right here is 25 centimeters without stretching. So you're going to be turning your sleeves inside out, because then it's going to be a little bit easier to sew the elastic right on top. I'm going to be using a yarn needle. I'm just gonna insert my elastic right on top of the needle. I'm gonna go through a few stitches and leaving a little bit of the elastic hanging at the end, and then with a safety pin you're going to be securing the elastic right here at the beginning. And very simple, you're just gonna go through the single crochets right here on top, making sure that you get all of the stitches, because then you're not gonna be able to see the elastic. So now you're going to be connecting both ends together of the elastic, and you're just going to be sewing them together, making sure that at the end you fasten off so it's not gonna be undoing when you're wearing it. So now you can just go ahead and spread the elastic around here, the single crochets, just to make sure that you don't see the elastic, like the parts of the elastic hanging from the stitches. So now you're going to be turning the top again on the right side. So now you can just choose a place to attach the buttons. I'm going to be doing it right here, as you can see on the chain 5 space. Get a little bit of thread and your needle, making sure that the needle goes through the buttonholes, because otherwise you're not going to be able to sew them together. You're just going to secure the thread where you want to sew the button in place, and then just sew the button as normally. and then once you're happy with the sewing of the button, you're going to be turning to the back, and then you can fasten off. I'm doing quite a few fastening off right here just to make sure that it's nicely and secured, and then cut the thread, and then you can do the same to the other side with the next button. So you will be checking in the top where it's basically under your armpit. My one is just at the beginning here of the second square and a little bit of the last one, so right here. So once you know that, you can just go ahead and insert the buttons into the single crochets right at the top here of the crop top. As simple as that, guys. And that's how it kind of looks like, and it's quite secured in place, and I really like that idea for like detachable sleeves, because then at least you can have a crop top and a long sleeve to wear like with different outfits. So yeah guys, this is everything for today's video. This is how the top looks like. You can wear as a crop top or also with the sleeves as a off the shoulder top, and I'm quite happy on how this one turned out, and I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you give a massive thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you can watch more videos like this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys on my next video. Bye bye.